Hey, Audrey.
Hi, Crystal Dawn. I was just thinking how beautiful you look today.
Thank you.
Lovely, kind of glowy
Thanks.
in your face.
Thanks. I am feeling very excited about this. I even put lipstick on.
That's definitely a sign.
Yeah, like with wearing masks, I feel like I never wear lipstick anymore, wearing masks everywhere in public. So, I wanted to talk with you about curating this fulfilling life and how we do that and what it does for those moments in life when we're feeling fear, when I'm scared of the actual dying. Like the other day, we were on retreat up in the Stanislaus National Forest, and we being the faculty of Panacea Holistic Health, who I teach anatomy for, and I'm the program director for. And so we were on our staff faculty retreat, and it was raining all night long. It started raining like at midnight, and it's a 45-minute drive up this dirt road, like, a high up in the top of the mountains. And I was getting really scared. I guess it was about 4 a.m. I woke up like, I could die. I could drive. We could take a turn and it could be muddy and I could slip and fly off the side of this mountain. And I was feeling a lot of anxiety and fear. And the first thing I thought of was our personal death awareness practice.
Good practice.
Yeah, because I was really scared because it was raining hard, and it was raining hard for a long time, and it's a muddy road, and it's a hill, and it's 45 minutes of that, switchbacks and stuff. So the first thing I thought was like, am I complete? Could I drive off the cliff and feel complete with my life?
Yeah.
And so, is there anything I haven't said to anyone? Is there anything I haven't done with my stuff or with my, who has my passwords, and how would everybody be able to, how would my loved ones be able to, kind of deal with my being gone?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, yeah, I am complete. I felt like I could die in the morning on the way down this mountain, and I would have nothing wanted. I feel like my life is fulfilling every day, and it's a gift every day. And in the sense that I don't have anything that is unsaid to anyone. I feel complete with everyone in my life. If I died right this second on this call with you.
Well, what's that feeling experience for you? What do you notice?
In my body, it feels like this really open space in my whole belly, like in my diaphragm region. I feel like a softness, like I can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sensation up sort of the back of my neck that feels kind of like loose and ready. And I was still scared, I was still like feeling this, like it felt, I remember laying in the bed kind of like, I felt like a little quiver in my whole torso. And when I woke up in the morning and was saying hi to everybody and expressing how I woke up at 4 a.m, and when I got up at 7:30, I was telling everybody, like, I woke up and I was really scared, and I still am scared. It's still raining a lot. And then very shortly after that, one of the hosts on the land said, I'm going to escort everybody down the mountain with his 4-wheel drive and with a chainsaw in the back of his truck. So if there were any fallen trees, he would, be able to, we would be able to get down the mountain. And so at that point, I remember thinking, oh,
Yeah.
the way I
What
felt.
what I appreciate hearing your experience is that that I can feel, in this case, you were expressing feeling complete, and that kind of openness in your belly and the kind of readiness, up in your neck. and still feel scared, you know,
Yes.
that it's not, that feeling complete isn't like complete, you know, like I have no feelings about it, that, you know, in the presence of that, still feeling scared or whatever, other people, you know, feeling sad about, you know, things that I might not have completed, not like projects or like, you know, things I want to do and before I, you know, leave the planet, like things I would let, you know, and be needing to let go of or would let go of. But that, you know, your feelings are still there, and that feeling of like, yeah, I'm complete. And I still have some sensations and feelings about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what a wonderful thing, you know, to just recognize like, yeah, people are gonna have, you know, gonna have their feelings, but like they know what to do with my stuff. I've communicated those things. I've communicated my feelings. I've completed my conversations. No leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I do have one leftover with our stuff in our storage unit since we've been traveling over the last year and a half. It's like who knows where the key is, the extra key. So that is an incomplete now that I'm thinking about it. Like I gotta get because the key moves around. So where is it? It's in our RV.
And would you have a sense of what action needs to happen to get that clarity, to get that information?
Yeah, I would need to talk to Spider Monkey and tell her that the key is in our RV parked in her storage. Yeah, I think I'll do that by today.
Cool. And that, just that feeling like, you know, in an ideal world, I would, you know, I say like it's getting current. You know, like I'm current with, you know, my conversations, with my connections, and that it's a living, breathing thing. It's an ongoing thing. And those, what you just did, that kind of simple, okay, oh yeah, that, you know, and writing it. I usually, for me, I need to write it down, because if it's not like, oh that, and then you know, there it goes. And then like, what do I need to do and by when am I going to do it, is another form of completing, like taking something, you know, following something all the way through. So even in the midst of the personal death awareness, there's all these little microcycles that create that experience of like, oh, completing that, and that's, now you can let that go, and completing that, and yeah.
And experience the like spaciousness, and it's like an abundance of like softness for my system, my nervous system. I feel softer in my whole body
Mhm.
with yeah, getting current.
Yeah. And I love that, you know, that your awareness of and your capacity to describe your feeling experience of that. And then, because then you can, you know, you can tune in, like, am I having that feeling experience of being current and complete? And if not, if I'm not feeling that, then I just, you know, start to get curious, like, okay, so what's wanting my attention? What's wanting the next action, or what's wanting to get complete?
Mhm.
And it can be relatively simple, like what you just said, but those little like loose ends.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is, you know, if April were with me, because April, you know, is my go-to person for things like
Yeah.
that. So that's even like the second layer of if both of us were gone from the
Right.
planet right now. Yeah. And when we were talking before we got on live, you were saying, what were you saying about, I was scared of like dying, like in the 4 a.m, anxious feelings, but you were saying something else. What were you saying about?
Well, I have had a couple of near-death experiences. So there's something about the actual process, like the dying, that I have a relationship with, you know, and I don't want to die right now. I mean, but I don't feel so scared of that. What I feel more nervous or scared about is the process. For example, if I were to have a chronic, you know, terminal disease, or both of my parents took about 2 years in their process. So that, that is not so, that I feel more scared about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the process of it. And part of the completing for me is to feel like I don't have a lot of lingering, incompletions, so that when, the time comes, it's not like this long drawn out process, to the extent that I can control that, of course.
Right. Yeah.
And then, there may be some things I could do if I knew that was going to happen, which is, it's not part of my, it's sort of a question back in there. But I think, some people may have a certain feeling experiences about death, like the actual dying part, and then also about the process of dying. And they're two separate experiences. Some, the process might be very quick, and for some, not so much. And to bring some awareness to that, which is part of the personal death awareness thing too, like, what, how is it that if I could design my own experience, how is it I would design it in a way that hopefully would be as friendly to me as possible, and also as friendly to the people around me, like long enough that people have a chance to say farewell, and also quick enough that there's a minimal amount of suffering.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that personal death awareness is kind of considering these possibilities, like a lot of us don't really even consider that that's possible to choose.
Mhm.
Choose consciously, or dream it in a way that that the end of life process, the final work of art, could be
Yeah.
friendly. So I'm appreciating you for considering that, and then noticing, like I think what I'm hearing you say is, like, you're not afraid of being dead, you're afraid of getting dead.
Yeah, and it's great to look at. For me, it's like looking at all of the things that happen in my day-to-day life that can represent that time.
Mm.
Like, when I'm getting off a phone call, do I'm kind of like, ugh, or do I let it complete? And how do I do that? Or do I leave dishes in the sink for a long period of time, so I'm not like really letting the experience of my meal, finish and then be done, and there's, all these little hints to me of where I am in the relationship, both to the ending process and also to the ending.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful. I'm so glad you brought that up, because it could be as simple as practicing putting the cap on the toothpaste, and that's a little the mini death of completing the toothbrushing process.
Exactly. And mine is like with laundry and with the dishes, like laundry, you do it, like how many times have I left it in the dryer for like 48 hours or something? And like, like the whole thing, and then I love folding. There's something about taking chaos to order that I just really love. And then putting them away and closing the drawer or closing the closet, and then, okay, done. And then a little bit of space, at the end of the ending, to also take a couple of breaths and like be in that emptiness, in between what got done and what's to come.
Yeah, like the space, the pause, the moment of kind of like celebration. Yay, I did that.
But I definitely know people who, and not that there's anything wrong with this, of like who will leave a pile of clean laundry, on their bed. And there, again, it's fine. Like, just get curious, especially if it bugs them. It bugs them, but they don't do anything about it. It's like, just get curious, like, I wonder what their relationship is to death, to the actual ending, like what you're saying, the dying part and the complete.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so happy we're talking about this, and feeling the arc of our conversation, like the life cycle of this conversation right now. I can feel it kind of like coming in for a landing, and appreciating that personal death awareness has Ding, 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 ding. Environmental feedback.
What is
It has, you know, it has helped me to sense those subtle, this subtle feeling of like an arc coming to completion.
Mhm.
Hmm. So thank you. Thank you
for
for
the richness of our conversation.
yeah, thank you for being with me here and enjoying this this time to be alive and creative. And
is there anything you feel like you want to express to feel complete if we were to never see one another again?
No, but that question is also of gives me a feeling of celebration of like, yeah. So I guess, yeah, yes, there is something I want to express. It's my celebration that we're doing this, and that with every conversation we have like this, I learn a little bit more about my own awareness of getting current and celebrating completions. So thank you. Is there anything you would like to express to feel complete?
I'm grateful for the quality of our relationship, that we can co-create this conversation and feel happy at the same time.
Hooray.
I'm grateful for you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, we're in the month of gratitude. So taking in, breathing in this appreciation and gratitude. And until next time.
Until next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see.